if this doesn't work, I'm just going to go back to working and I'm never going to try anything.
Today on the C.Cast, you're joined by someone who embodies the creative evolution.
In this life thing, there's two people. Someone that is going to give you an opportunity for you to take care of your family. And there's going to be someone who's going to work for that guy that gives people opportunity.
He's the founder and creative director of AOK Studios.
Oh, shucks. So this is me that I did all of this. That's pretty cool.
Which isn't just a platform, but also a creative space for emerging and established talents.
AOK, funny enough, it's only one thing that I've ever believed in that I never thought it wouldn't work.
Powerful live performances.
That you're doing is good enough. And
authentic storytelling.
Just do it.
And recently received a co-sign by none other than DJ Switch.
You never know who's watching.
Which is a huge nod from adding serious momentum to their journey in the creative industry.
We did a collaboration post and it got to 10K views.
He pivoted into film and entrepreneurship.
Because I was a musician myself, I never got these opportunities. So let me create an opportunity for someone that may want it.
Tabang's story is one of resilience.
You know, when you're starting out, you're like, yo, 10K views, dog, is like so far-fetched.
Which didn't break him, but built him.
And the world received it better. It's a win for you. Don't overthink it, just do it.
Overthink it. And today we're going to unpack that journey to see how he created this platform and is redefining the creative expression in the South African landscape. Tabang, let's cook. Hey, welcome to the latest episode of the C.Cast. It's an absolute pleasure having you here today. Before we get into the next guest, I just want to give you a little bit of an idea of what this podcast is about. We are about connecting creativity and technology to uplift the African continent and connect the world to Africa. What we do is we chat to members of our communities. We give them a platform to share their story and to share how they are connecting Africa to the digital economy and the world to Africa. So before we get into this next guest, if you like our content, I just want to remind you to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below about what you think about the conversation. If you want to get more involved in the community, you can also join the WhatsApp group by scanning the QR code. In this group, we'll be able to share opportunities, knowledge with you, and you'll be able to meet other like-minded people of the community. So yeah, we hope to see you in the group soon. Until then, let's get into the episode.
Yo, man, this is so beautiful. Like, every time I get to watch podcast and they get to read people's biography, I guess. Yeah, biography. It's like you sit in there and like, oh shucks, so this is me that I did all of this. That's pretty cool.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's always good to take a moment just to kind of step back and look at what you've done, because when you're in the thick of it, you don't realize how you're actually moving forward until you take a moment to just kind of sit back. And I think that's what I really like about these podcasts is we like to go through a journey where we go to where you started, where you are now, and where you're headed in the future. And going back and looking back to where you started, you start to realize, damn, I've actually moved quite far. And yeah, I know, as someone who also, I know you guys have been working hard, because that's how I came across your channel. Because I was going through social media, and then I saw AOK, I was like, what is this? I saw one of your videos, and then I went and I looked, and then I saw bro, you've been consistent in your posting.
Yeah.
And I think that's where most people struggle, is with the consistency part. But I know that in order to succeed in the online world, consistency is a necessary part of the journey. And that's what attracted me to your work, was even though, a lot of people, they look at the following count, how much engagements you're getting, not realizing that there's actually a whole other side to it where the following and the numbers don't matter. What matters is who's watching, what connections you're making. And that's something that I know from my experience. So when I see AOK journey, I know that even though there's not a large following behind it right now, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And that's why I needed to get you on the podcast, because I can see where you're going because of the consistency that you had.
Yeah.
And I wanted to find out more where did this start? So going back to the beginnings, tell me the story about the computer crash. What is that about?
Alright, cool. So I started music, I think probably when I was doing grade 4, grade 5, somewhere there, and listening to Lil Wayne. So everything that I would do, literally, whatever Lil Wayne would rap about, sing about, paraphrasing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so literally I was paraphrasing everything Lil Wayne would rap about, right?
Yeah.
Then, that's how my music journey started. From primary then to high school, I actually wanted to pursue music and just leave school out of everything. Like I didn't want to go to varsity or anything. And yeah, I'd get to a point where now I'm in grade 12 and all my friends, I want to be a doctor. I want to be, the typical story like
Yeah.
of a creative, like friends want to be doctors, want to be, funny enough, all my friends, I have, I think 3 friends. The first one is doing teaching, radiography and all of those things, Yeah. So with me, then now I had to decide, what is it that I want to do? Because I don't want to do any of those things.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I took a gap year. Then after taking a gap year, my parents are like, "Yo, we get the whole music thing. It's not gonna pay the bills and whatnot. Go to school." And I was like, I'm not sure about school. Then I try to look for something that actually can relate to what I'm doing, like music, because I enjoy music, film, and all those things. But then I stumbled upon Boston Media House in Santon. Then I was like, that's a free promo.
Hey, Busted. We're waiting for you to slide into the DMs for that sponsorship.
Yeah, so yeah, I went there and yeah, I slept it, graduated, and after that, after graduation, you have to do internship. Then doing internship, yeah, I was bored at the internship. Yeah, there wasn't anything interesting. But also, we're doing podcasting, like, but I was behind the scene. So we do like podcasting, video editing, motion graphics, animation, and all those things. But in a corporate space, like, "Ish,
Yeah.
I want my thing. You know how creatives get. And yeah, then I sat back. I was like, what is it that I can do when all this internship and whatnot they all done? What is it that I'm going to do? Then I thought of AOK, right? And on the spot, I thought of AOK. I remember I think I was editing something and I was sitting next to these other 2 guys. I'm like, yo, guys, I have this idea. I even wrote it down. I wish I had that paper. Wrote it down. I'm like, yo, guys, this is what I'm thinking of doing. Let's do this thing. But they didn't see the vision. It was okay. And yeah, funny enough, that's when I met my girlfriend, the same internship. And yeah, I told her that, yo, look, this is what I want to do. I don't have anyone that can help me. Do you mind helping me? And she's like, yeah, no, I'm done. It's okay. And yeah, literally, that's how AK started. Nothing too hectic. Yeah. And
Power couple things.
here we are. Here we are. Here we are.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope to hear, bro. So, you touched on a few things there. I think largely around the creative space. I was actually chatting with a friend about it the other day. Like in South Africa, when it comes to the music space, it's like you're either a part of the top 1% or you're part of the bottom 99%.
Yeah.
And the bottom 99% is not making any guap. And the top 1% is making a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's something that I feel like we're missing in South Africa is like that middle space. And what I love about AOK is like, I feel like AOK is a really good platform to help people to build that like kind of middle ground where you can still like make decent money to at least survive.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be like the tip of the top or be completely broke. But like when it comes to like AOK, right? Like we said earlier, the success of these things, we were talking a little bit before the podcast actually, and you mentioned how you never know who's watching.
Yeah, true.
Like, tell me more about that statement that you made to me. Like, what's the story behind that?
Okay, what I've realized, right? Like the early stages of studying AOK. So I think we're currently like sitting on probably 300 and something followers. And what's funny, Doc, like literally how I started this whole thing, like the consistency again. Like I made sure that every week I wanted to, without even knowing about it's the consistency and everything, I just wanted to put content out. Then yeah, we're sitting on 300 and something followers. Then I went to I think Northwest to go shoot an episode there. Like I just drove to Northwest, crazy Doc.
Bro, I know that feeling, dude. Like when we were, bro, like when I first started in the creative space, like I also had like, you're working with corporate and you want to do something like your own thing.
Yeah.
So like I came across this fashion film festival and I was like, I'm gonna enter this thing. Because I had a concept for a fashion film. And then I looked at the theme of the fashion film and it was like exactly the same as my concepts. Then I was like, nah, this is a sign. Bro, we landed up driving down to Durban like for one day just to get shots by the sea because we were serious about this thing, bro. So I get that road trip.
It gets crazy, dog. It
Real
real
about
crazy.
this.
Yeah, so shout out to Law. That's the artist that I went to shoot, Law and B-Boy. So I went to Northwest to shoot them. And I think a lot of the time she was sitting on also 300 and something, not too many followers. So again, the who you never know who's watching. So both our platforms had 300 followers, but we did a collaboration post, and it got to 10K views. Like imagine you never thought. When you're starting out, you're like, yo, 10K views, dog, is like so far-fetched. Now that we have 300 and you're not even thinking if you can get.
Like, think of 300 people in a room right now.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's a lot of
Yeah,
people,
that's
dude.
better. But when you started, you're like, yo, try, because you're looking at bigger creatives even here. Yeah, they have like 10K, 100, and yeah. So literally, it's not about followers. That's what I've learned from that episode, that it doesn't matter, because I'll compare people that have a bigger following and with us, that how do we have 300 followers but we can reach 10,000 people. So if the product it's good, people are gonna gravitate towards the product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes the product will be good, but it takes a bit of time for people to like pick up on that it's
yeah.
what it is. Because if you're only reaching 300 people, maybe the first video, maybe you're missing a certain element. Maybe the product is good, but maybe the hook in the beginning just wasn't too captivating enough. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe the lighting was slightly off or something like that. So like when you keep on going and going and going, you start to see, okay, cool, this is what I need to change in order for things to work. This is what I need to talk about in order for people to relate to it or to share it. And that's why I think the consistency is important, right? Because if you're consistently posting, your success just becomes a function of time. Because every time you post, if you're improving it or you're changing it, eventually you're going to get to something that's decent, right? So like my question to you is like, how did you get to the point where now you're creating content that's actually getting attention? You mentioned that you were like studying in university. Was it like skills that you learned in university, or was there other stuff that you're doing? Like, I want to find out more about like the videos that didn't blow up, because those are the ones that actually got to the videos that did blow up, right? So tell me more about how that journey unfolded.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Yeah, funny enough, I studied film and everything. But I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't say it's what I've learned from school. Literally, it's about like doing it consistently every day. Because I would say what I get to learn at school, it's mainly to just place you in like corporates and whatnot. And I would say what corporate do and what we do, it's slightly different in a sense, right? I get you. Yeah. So it's funny that AOK channel, right? Someone actually asked me that. No, I was speaking to Jimabel James.
Yeah, shout out to Jim McCall, bro.
Yeah, he was saying that he has some of the stuff that he had to delete. And I was like, yo, bro, you can't delete them. It's part of the journey. Don't delete them. So even with AOK, like what you see now, there's more content that, it's private. And I was like, those are the content that didn't blow up. Yeah. Again, it's those hooks. How do you introduce the videos? How do you edit? How do you color grade? All those things. So the more I've been doing those videos, then I got to learn, and it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, now I found my style of editing, my style of color grading and whatnot. So I suppose that's what now grabs the attention for people to like watch.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nah, I get you, bro. And like, what would you say kind of makes you different in the sense, like you've interviewed some big names, bro. Like I was seeing you the other day, you were interviewing Maporisa. Like there's so many big artists that you've been able to get in touch with. Like, how did you actually like do that? Because there's so many people out here that are doing interview style questions that want to do what you're doing. But they like, what makes you different? What made you succeed compared to all the people that are trying to do the same thing but aren't necessarily getting to be able to interview these big names? Like, how are you able to get there?
Again, bro, it's not that deep. Yeah, I think it's not that. So I'm gonna explain.
Yeah, they called me up. Maporisa was like, "Hey, man, I've seen your stuff."
No, not even. Not even. So, it's a whole thing of. So when I started, man, I thought like getting like bigger names on the platform, even like artists that I want, like there's still big artists that I want to come and perform on the platform. When I was starting, I thought, yo, reaching out to like these big names, it's like so far-fetched. But literally, what I've been doing is just getting on Instagram and just trying my luck and be like, yo, for example, like festivals, I'll be like, yo, this is what we do. We'd like to come and collaborate and and sometimes they're like, oh, they look at the way like, okay, come through and we come to the event. Now we're not going to the event as the audience, but we're going there as AOK, and we're gonna go work, and that's how I think the luck comes in, you know. And again, success, it's the definition that I have for success is when opportunity meets luck, you know. So you've been preparing. Then when that opportunity comes, bro, you're ready, man. You know, we've been working. So when these people now start reaching out, it's like, yo, we're ready, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I think that's where most people like struggle because in the beginning, that preparation part, you don't get anything in return. You don't get like the big names.
Yeah.
You don't get the big following.
No.
Like you don't get all of that stuff, which is what people are ultimately going for. Like a lot of people that want to create content or want to be influencers or whatever, they want to get the fame, they want to get the money, they want to get the opportunities. But the preparation part, you don't get any of that stuff. So there has to be another reason why you're doing that in the beginning with the preparation. Because if you're doing it for the money or the fame or all of that kind of stuff, it doesn't make sense to do it because you're not getting it at that point. So like, what would you say is that thing that kind of like pushed you to keep on going through that preparation phase of creating all of this content, even though you weren't getting anything in return? Because before you landed the big thing, you didn't know, or maybe you did know, I don't know. But like, you hadn't landed that big thing. So something must have been like pushing you to keep on going. What was that thing?
Yeah, no, you're right. I didn't know that like AOK was gonna get to this point. Like literally what I wanted to do, I had an idea of shooting. So the whole idea of AOK is to shoot you know, the whole thing of BEE, you know, the government representing the underprivileged people and whatnot. So it's like, yo, in the music space, there's artists that they're very good, dog, but they don't get an opportunity to go to Trace, Channel O, and all these big platforms. So how about I create a platform where I can give them an opportunity? Literally, that's where it stems from. And me doing that consistently, because I believe in the talent that I bring to the platform. Eventually, I just knew it's like that burning fuel that you, as an entrepreneur, dog, you know, you have to have that fire in you. If you don't have it, if it switches off, everything will crumble, you know?
Yeah.
So it's always that thing of, I believe this talent, because it's a collaboration thing. The good talent join forces with AOK, and when we come together, we create a magic, then give it to the world, and next thing you know, it's gonna, because we get more traction sometimes more than the big names, and you think to yourself, it's like, literally, it's not about following and whatnot. Again, the product, you know, people want what they want, and we're living in a digital age now. People are more exposed to what they prefer. It's not that whole thing of TV just feeding you the content that you don't want. Now you have more options. So we're like, oh, that's the space where we're gonna tap into that opportunity. Okay, people want new faces, fresh voices. Okay, that's where we're gonna play it.
How do you choose who you feature on the platform?
At the beginning, I didn't have anyone, so it would be difficult to like reach out and be like, "Yo, this is what I'm doing," you know.
Really? Bro, you know what, actually, though? Like, I get what you're saying, bro, because even with our podcast, right? In the beginning, bro, I'd reach out to people to come on, and no one would like want to come on. And dude, I was so confused. I was like, I'm literally gonna sit here, like, you can see all the equipment and stuff that we have here. Like, we put an effort into this thing,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna like give you a platform to speak on, create all this content for you for free, and you're not interested in that. Like,
It's insane, right?
bro, I was like so
Insane.
confused.
Yeah,
Like,
it's insane. It's insane.
why do you think that?
No, I think, like you're saying, for example, let's say your podcast, you want people to invest in your podcast. For example, let's take government. You want government to invest in in your podcast. The government or brands, they would invest in something that already has motion, something that is moving. They're not gonna say, because there's a lot of people with a lot of ideas, but those ones that actually implement those ideas, they're gonna get the opportunities. Again, success. That opportunity, you know, means preparation because you've been at it. Then now when you approach these people, it's like, oh, this guy is actually doing something. Let me hop on. Unfortunately, people, they don't want to hop on something that is not moving.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part.
The idea is the easy part.
Yeah.
Making that idea come out of your head into the real world is
Yeah.
a completely different thing. That's not as easy, right?
Because everyone has an idea.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, how do I pick? I used to make music myself. I like to believe In future, I would like to be to wanna be an A&R, of some sort. If you're watching, I don't know, guy, hit me up. So yeah, gonna lie, it's a feeling based thing, but I'm afraid when we get to a point where now it's gonna be too serious. Any brands that is watching, come on the show. So yeah, so when it gets to that point when now we have brands and whatnot, because I know it's no longer gonna be about feelings. It's like we're down to business now. You can't just say anyone randomly from Alex, you'll come, and there's no shade to Alex. I'm just saying, you can't just do that. But right now it's mainly about yeah, just feeling, purely feeling, and just knowing that there might be an opportunity for you to actually like make something out of the opportunity that we are giving you. And also to mention, yeah, I feel some type of way when people will say, you making this artist, like, yo, no, bro, I'm not making this artist. It's just I'm being part of their journey so that eventually when they make something out of it, I was part of it, but I didn't make them.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
just like how you're saying people want to be a part of a moving train, like the artist is also that train. The artist needs to be moving themselves because
Yeah.
if you're gonna come along, right? And now this artist is like putting out content, but maybe they drop something 1 week and then like 6 months later they're dropping another thing. It doesn't make sense for someone like you to work with someone like that because they're not consistent in their own work. So when you come on and you give them the platforms and you help them produce all this content, if they're not going to run with that after you move on to helping the next person or platforming the next person, then they kind of just, they're not going to progress further, right? They're going to kind of be stuck where they were before. So that thing of like finding artists, would you say that that's also a thing, like trying to find artists that are already pushing their stuff and then using your platform as a way to like kind of amplify it, right? Would you say that's like a part of the decision making as well?
As you're speaking right now, I'm trying to think of something to actually answer your question. So I've realized that with artists they differ. You'd have artists that they don't care about oh yeah, I have it. So there's artists that they like to be mysterious. Well, it's fine to be mysterious as your Kendrick Lamar. You can be mysterious. It's fine because you can like randomly drop a song on YouTube and the whole day everyone is gonna be talking about, but no one knows you and you still acting mysterious, bro. Come on.
Bro, but as you were talking about that now, the first person that came to my mind was Burning Forest Boy. I don't know if you know Burning
Who?
Forest Boy. Burning Forest Boy.
No, no, no.
So he's also an artist that has that whole like
Mysterious,
mysterious
yeah.
kind of vibe. But he's managed to like make it work, bro. Like that's the part that I find interesting. Like so like Burning Forest Boy is an artist that I've seen that has somehow made it work, bro. And I don't know how he's made it work because the algorithm nowadays, you have to put stuff out consistently. Because if you stop, then, it just doesn't reach anyone. But it seems like he's managed to make it work. So I don't know, maybe there's like a loophole or something that he's managed to figure out. I don't know.
But it's quite interesting because also even on TikTok, Instagram, you have those girls that they just post a picture, not doing anything, and it gets so much traction.
Yeah.
It's insane. But someone would like go do like the editing. It's insane. Everything looks proper, but the engagement is like, So it's a bit confusing sometimes.
It is confusing.
Yeah.
It's just so disheartening, bro.
Yeah.
It's like you spend so much time on this thing and then no one sees it just because it's like, for whatever reason, maybe it's not in alignment with the algorithm, or maybe people don't really value that in kind of editing, or I don't know what you think is the reason why like the kind of content that you put out is not, the success of it is not related to the amount of effort. Why do you think that's the case? Like, is it the algorithm, or what are your thoughts around that?
I was watching this other video. Someone that works in Instagram. I forgot their name. So they were saying that sometimes, for example, let's say that you post a video, right? When you post a video, obviously, that they would have to like push it to people so that people can decide if they want to actually engage with this content. But it's also the uh, responsibility to not push that content to people that they don't want to consume your content because they don't follow you. So it's tricky sometimes the algorithm, like how it works there. okay, now you're pushing my content, but you're also blocking it to people, because there's content that you don't want to see. Then now, what if those people that they are blocking your content, maybe they could be your audience? So it's
You never know.
yeah,
It's like the algorithm is
yeah,
kind of deciding
yeah,
for you in a
yeah,
way. Like the way I also think about it is like I did some research in the TikTok algorithm as well, and it seems the way that that works is whenever you put out a video, it's going to reach a certain amount of people, like guaranteed, and that's going to be like a testing phase for the algorithm. So they send it to a bunch of people. They see out of like, let's say, because like if you're going to be posting consistently, you're probably going to get around 200 views per TikTok. That's like the testing, right?
yeah.
So out of those 200 people, how many people watch it for more than like 10% of the video, or like after the first 3 seconds? How many people like it? How many people comment on it? How many people save it? And if no one watches it beyond the first 3 seconds, if no one likes it or comments on it or saves, reposts or engages in any way, they're not going to show it to more people, because then they've kind of decided, this out of the 200 people that saw it, no one really liked it. So the chances of other people liking it is probably unlikely. So we're not going to show it to more people. Whereas if you show it to the first 200 people, and then let's say 100 people out of the first 200 people like it, then they can say, okay, this is highly, like, people really like this video, so we're going to show it to more people. Or let's say, and each of those metrics, like whether it's a like, a comment, a save, or a share, a reshare, they all have a different value. They weighted differently. So a like wouldn't be equal to a reshare. A reshare would be more valuable than a like. And the reason why that's the case is because these algorithms, their goal is to keep people on the platform so that they can give more ads. And every ad that is watched by someone on their platform, they get paid for that. So if I'm resharing a video outside of the app, let's say I come across an AOK video, I think this is so hilarious, I'm going to send it to my friend on WhatsApp. The fact that I did that is now my friend is going to click on that link and then come and go on TikTok and spend more time on TikTok. They're going to consume more ads because they're watching more content on TikTok. And now TikTok's going to make more money. So any metrics that is going to make TikTok more money is going to be more valuable. And they're going to put that content out to more people because it's helping them achieve their business goals. So like, having said that, right, it's sort of like we're controlled by the algorithm in a way, right?
Yeah, because if you think about it, it's business to them. So they're in the business of keeping people, like the more they have more people staying on the platform, that's when now they're gonna make money. So they trying to do that also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting to talk about the business side, right? Because like a lot of creatives, they want to do what they like doing. But I always ask them, like, what's the point of like sharing it with the world if you're making it because you like it? Like, if you make it because you like it, no one would have to listen to it. Only you would have to listen to it, right? So what's the point of like sharing it to the world?
Yeah. Yeah, I have the same question that sometimes I think if it wasn't for AK, I wasn't gonna post. Like literally on WhatsApp sometimes I post, then delete. I'm like, why am I posting this? Because who really wants to see me like a selfie? Like who cares? So I struggle with that. I think if it wasn't for AOK, I was gonna struggle to host content. But because of it's AOK, and I believe the more people I reach, that's when for me, if I reach more people, then that's when I can attract like grants and whatnot. Then we can work together and what. So it's a must for me to post. I have to post. Yeah, unfortunately.
But also there's like a purpose behind it, right? Because like it sounds like you're super passionate about uplifting unfound talent, right? People that have something that is valuable to offer, but they maybe don't have the means or the capability of like getting it out there to the world.
Yeah.
And AOK helps those people get what they're doing out to the world. So, when you have that passion and when you have that purpose behind what you're doing, it becomes easier to kind of keep consistent at it because there's a reason why you're doing that.
Yeah.
So like you mentioned a lot about like the business side of things, right? Because with this kind of thing in the beginning, you don't get paid. Now I'm assuming like how do you keep going without like, in the beginning you weren't getting paid. I don't know how it is now. Like, are you getting paid now? And like, how do you get those opportunities? How did you manage to, if you are in that situation at the point?
Hey, hold on. I just need to remind you very quickly to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment down below about what you think about this episode. We need to be able to tell the algorithm on YouTube that we are creating content that is valuable. So please engage with this content, whether you're listening to it on YouTube or on Spotify or whatever platform. Please engage. It just helps us reach more people, brings more people into the community, which means more access to knowledge and opportunities for you, a member of the community. So please don't forget to engage on this video or this audio podcast and leave a like, comment, or subscribe and give it a share. Thank you so much. We'll hop back into the episode.
Yeah, funny you say that. The whole purpose of AOK, because I was a musician myself. So how I started AOK, right, was a whole thing of I never got these opportunities. So let me create an opportunity for someone that may want that. So now when you're asking about, obviously, you can't just create without money, because money kind of sustain this thing that you're creating, right? So I thought to myself, okay, how about I register a whole company trying to learn all these things? How does the creative economy works? So it's a whole thing of AOK Studios. That's a production side of things. So we're using AOK show as to like promote a brand, because the whole marketing and whatnot. If you don't market it, then no one will know you. So AOK show is to promote AK Studios as a production company. So a production company would shoot podcasts, would shoot music videos, would shoot promos and all those things. So that's how we get to make money, working with corporates and whatnot. So the AOK show, it's a passion project, but also making us to be visible.
So on the back end of that, there's a production company that is doing work with corporates that's funding the show.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so crazy because like that's exactly what the C.Cast is. Literally. So like we do the same thing. So like the great thing about the C.Cast, right? And I always tell people, they always look at our channel and they're like, oh, you don't have like a large following and la la la. And I'm like, what they don't understand is like, even though we don't have a large following, like we had a sponsored episode last year. There's other podcasts out there that have much bigger followings that don't have any sponsors. Like, how are we able to get the sponsor? And the reason why we were able to get the sponsors because through the work that we're doing, there's a whole business on the back end of it. And that's what people invest in. That's what people understand. People in business are willing to invest in that. So like, whether it be like us interviewing someone that we want to work with, and then when we interview someone on this channel, right, they come on here, they see all of the gear that we have, they see our workflow in terms of how we put out the post-production, how we put out the social media, all of that stuff that we're doing is what the business does. Exactly. So when it comes to like working with that person, it becomes so much easier to sell to that person now that they've seen it with their own eyes, they've experienced it. And not only that, they've also spent time to actually get to know the people behind the business, right? So that business thinking is like what I think differentiates AOK from like other people, because the reason why I was so attracted to AOK was because I could see you, like we're doing the same thing, bro. And it works, bro. And I wanted to get you on the episode today because that business thinking, I think a lot of young people don't have exposure to that. Like a lot of young people, especially in the creator space, they have the skill to create work that is amazing, but not many people have the skill to sell it or to make it sustainable by generating an income from it. And you've managed to do that at a young age as well, which is like super rare. So like big ups like for what you're doing, dude. Like let me just give you your flowers quickly for that. But I wanted to find out, like, where did you learn all of this knowledge around like sustainability, generating income, registering a business? Like, where did you learn all of that stuff?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's a guy called Pet Matango, man. I was working for him. He has an advertising agency. So I was working for him. So I was a multimedia designer then. Literally doing the editing, motion graphics and all those things. So something shit, because at that time, that was the birth of AOK also, trying to get to AOK where it is now. So like I would watch like how he moves, like in terms of business. He's in a advertising agency, and it's a creative space, but you can see that he doesn't only care about the creativity, the, the creative only. How to put this? Like he doesn't only care about the creativity, but also the business, like watching him, how he gets deals, how he gets to pay us, all those things. So I was watching throughout till I get to a point I was like, okay, I think now might be a time. Let me try it for myself, because if I don't try it, I guess I'll never do. Because it's comfortable when you have a pay, and every end month you're just gonna get paid. Like for you to say, yo, let me just pause there and go do something. It's not easy, man.
What
Yeah.
pushed you to do that? Like,
Uh
because you can get sucked into that world. Hey?
yeah. But it get to a point where I was like, again, a purpose thing. But I'm not more into like, everything is just about purpose and whatnot. Also, you have to balance it. But I was like, I wanna build it now. I would rather like suffer now, maybe for like 5 years. Then I know after like 5 years, once I'm done with the suffering or whatnot, everything is kind of like the suffering is not that hectic anymore, because I believe that my purpose here on earth was to give other people opportunities. So I cannot give other people opportunities while I'm still working. It's gonna be difficult for me.
Where did you find that purpose?
It's I'm a creative at heart, man. I used to know how to draw. Firstly, that didn't work out. I tried soccer. That didn't work out. I
What
tried
position did you play?
middle.
Okay,
Yeah, middle.
that's why it
Yeah.
didn't work out, bro. It was all around me.
Yeah, I was in a striker. So yeah, then the music also, because I love music, so like I can't do anything without music. So it's like, since when it's gonna be so difficult for me to be, because it came to a point where I didn't want to be in front of cameras. Even with when I started AOK, you could see like early on videos, I'm not there. It wasn't all about me. Like everything was just, let me give this platform to someone that needs it. Yeah, then the music didn't work out. Then I created AOK and I'm here. So yeah, I'm a creative at heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just keep going. Like if something doesn't work out, then it's on to the next thing.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
find the link
yeah,
that sticks,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that like resilience, I think, is super important. I think that's the one thing that I love about South Africa, bro, is because I feel like we deal with so many challenges here that we have to be resilient. Like we don't have any other choice. Like if you're not resilient, then what? You're just gonna like disappear. Like there's nothing left for you. You have to keep on going, bro. Whether it's like load shedding or potholes or I don't know, whatever, like poverty even. You have to keep on going, keep pushing. And what I like is like sometimes you also gotta like what I'm hearing from what you're saying is you gotta sometimes take things to the back of the shed and just kill it. Like if you do soccer and like you're not scoring goals, maybe you're not a soccer player.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe you're a coach, a goalkeeper.
yeah, and it's okay to let go.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to hold on to
Yeah,
something that's not working. Like
and artists struggle with that, like holding on to that first thing that they first stumble upon. Like, oh, I can draw, and now it's like, yo, everything revolves around me drawing. I just want to do this, and you can see that, dog. This thing doesn't work. So it's also important for one to retrospect and just look at everything and be like, yo, how am I gonna sustain myself with this thing that I'm doing? And if it doesn't make sense, it's not that deep. You have to pivot.
yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
At what point did you realize AOK was working?
Okay, funny enough, it's only one thing that I've ever believed in that I never thought it wouldn't work. Funny enough. Like with AOK, how I started it, I was like, if this doesn't work, I'm just gonna go back to working and I'm never gonna try anything.
Mad.
Yeah, so I never had those thoughts where I'm like, I'm not too sure. Even though sometimes, it gets to a point where like it's lonely now, people are at work, maybe you don't have those busy month where you don't have gigs, things are not working out, but somehow I just keep at it somehow, because it's not always like gloomy and everything's all sunshine. Sometimes you like, am I on the right track? Then when you feel like, everything is going all down, then, whatever energy comes and it picks you up. It's like, yo, let's go.
It's a roller
Let's
coaster.
yeah. No, let's go.
I know that roller coaster.
Yeah, it's like let's go.
But I've had times when I've literally like put together my CV, just like sat there and looked at it, bro.
And the thought of you going to work keeps you going. It's like, yo,
Yeah.
I can't go back.
Bro, and it feels like selling your soul.
Yeah, because you've immersed yourself into this thing, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. It's like, for example, this would be probably a terrible idea. It's like now, imagine God decides one day, I don't want to be God. I want to be a human. Like, bro, who's gonna look after us?
Mad.
You know, so in this life thing, there's two people. That's what I believe. Someone that is gonna give you an opportunity for you to take care of your family, and there's gonna be someone who's gonna work for that guy that gives people opportunity. So you decide which one you're gonna be. Unfortunately, it's gonna have to be two people.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with either, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
Like,
true.
if you're the person who is, because a lot of people, they'll idolize the one who's giving the opportunity. Like, if you go ask the average person, they say, I want to be that. But do you, though? Because when you are in that position,
Yeah, if it's not in
you
you,
have all of that weight on
Yeah,
your shoulders
yeah.
when things are going difficult and you don't know how you're going to pay everyone. And then you figure out how you're going to pay everyone, but then don't know how you're going to pay yourself.
yeah, yeah,
Like, that's a burden to bear. Like, I've had many sleepless nights. Like, even this week, bro, you
yeah.
have a client that's like really like requiring a lot. And I couldn't sleep, bro. Like, literally, that stuff, I'm like up there, like thinking
know
of
the feeling,
ideas
man. I
of
know the
how we
feeling.
can make this work.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I'm up on my laptop at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, busy trying to implement these ideas. You know, if you're working for someone, by the time it's 5 o'clock, you're done. You switch off from that.
It's not
You
the
have your
truth,
own
man.
peace. If you're the one making the opportunity, yes, you have the benefit of having the freedom. You have the benefit of like enjoying success if you manage to get it. It comes with the cost that face a cost.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that
You
cost.
can't run away from it.
There will always be a cost. Like, you, at some point, there will be a cost. So it's just about which cost are you willing to pay, and like that's a decision that everyone's able to make for themselves. But like, talking about like the ups and the downs, like, what would you say has been like the biggest challenge that you've had to face so far, and how did you manage to like overcome it? Or if you're still dealing with it now, how are you like working through it?
I'm not gonna mention the name, but I'll tell you this. So beginning of this year, I thought I was gonna start the year on a on some energy level. So um there was this investor that they were supposed to give us 100K, and well, we did everything was proper. You know, the deal was okay, can I give you 100K to push AOK? So the 100K is like a stress reliever. You like, just relax a bit. You don't have to go hunt for money. Just do your thing until you're back on track. And we didn't get that deal because of a simple thing, man. A tax clearance pin.
Oh, mad. Bro, dude, and stuff like that happens, hey? Like, we were also applying for funding, and then there were like problems with the portal, and like now, like, the one thing that I have learned from that experience is don't have all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
yeah,
then, like, if something doesn't work out, you can still like keep going at least.
Yeah.
But I've been there, bro. And I know that stress,
Yeah.
dude. And you also, you have so much expectation on it as well. So when it doesn't happen, it's like so like,
And you're looking at it like, bro, that's why it's so important for one to have all the I don't know how to say it. Like when you have a company, like maybe have a Google Drive, and everything is there. Everything is like updated. Again, when opportunity meets whatever, you read it out.
yeah.
You know.
But also, sometimes you need to go through those failures to
Oh yeah,
learn about how you need
but
to
they're
do
not
it.
right.
It's
They
painful.
because now I could be relaxing, just a breather, but now
You have to push.
I must run now. I was gonna be joking.
Hey,
But,
man, midfield.
Look at you.
Man's a boy in midfield. Yeah, no. Hey, man. But yeah, no, like, I always think about those L's. You can either decide, is it going to be a loss or is it going to be a lesson? And like, as an entrepreneur, as someone who wants to progress, you have to take the lesson from it and move on. And it sounds like you've already like found ways to like make sure next time.
Yeah, we're
There.
good. Yeah,
So
good, we're good.
you have to work through those things. Now, talking like we spoke a little bit about like a low, right?
Yeah.
What would you say has been the highlight so far in terms of AOK and what you've achieved?
Yeah, the highlight will be like leaving my job. I was always asking myself, how am I gonna sustain myself in a way? And having the opportunity just to see AOK someday, like paying the bills, and you're like, oh shoot, so this thing is actually possible, hey? Like like you just started this thing without even thinking it was gonna take you and if like when we're starting, if someone were to tell me that you'd be working with Samro, Ukozi FM, they'll fly you to go to Durban just to like you're like you're out of your head, out of your mind. Like, like stuff like that. Yeah, working with cool artists, Yeah, so it's been amazing, man. Meeting like artists that have good energies and you get to like just exchange energies. It's a beautiful thing.
That's dope.
I can't exchange it for anything. Like if I get to a point where I don't have to stress about nothing, and I think AUK is like that one thing that it's gonna make me not to care up, not to stress about money, stress about like I just exist like with my family, with like us just being here on a random Tuesday, we can like sit down and like that, bro.
That's the dream.
That's everything, man. Because you can't do that. Not saying it's a bad thing when you're working like on Tuesday, you can't randomly like just sit down and have a call. But bro, like living your dream like on a random Tuesday. Think about it. On a random Tuesday, you just talking. Dog, we're just talking.
Just talking
You
about
know?
what's on your mind, but also offering value, bro. I think that's something that will never,
Yeah, yeah,
like, I can see it in you,
yeah,
and I also see myself in
yeah.
you. And it's that thing of like, I feel like you'd get bored.
What do you mean?
Like if you had that freedom where like there was no stress or anything like
Oh
that,
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
you
No,
would
no, yeah,
go.
true. Yeah, where every
I would get bored.
no, no, yeah, no, you're right. Like where everything is just like working out and yeah.
But it would be nice to have that for like, or to have the option, maybe. Like, if you want to take a breather, you can just take a breather if you want to. I don't know, bro. You
The
you strike me as the type of person that get bored.
the breather that doesn't last for long though.
Yeah.
It doesn't last for long. Because for example, let's say if the funding worked out. So now it's like I'm not on my toes anymore now. So now it's like, okay, I have some
Survival, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I get
Sometimes
what you're
it's
saying.
bad, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's good, It's bad, but
Yeah.
because sometimes when you have things figured out, now it's all boring and there's money. y-
Now you need to go to the
Yeah,
next level.
yeah, yeah.
No, that's dope. So talking about the next level. What is the next level for AOK?
Yeah, I feel like those artists in interviews when they're asking them, who do you wanna work with? Yeah, bro. There's things that I'm working towards now, just that unfortunately I can't share. So yeah, those things are the next level. So now, I just told myself that I'm gonna keep with the consistency up until those things they actually catch fire. Then that's when now we're gonna have a breather. Now it's no longer gonna be a thing of because now we're trying to release an episode every week. But now when I figured out the model of like making money properly so that I can because funny enough, I would have like uni kids that they wanna like come in 10 and whatnot. So so it's no longer about me again, the purpose thing, It fulfills me knowing that I'm giving someone an opportunity because now it's like a stepping stone. Even when they're going to look for jobs, they've worked, they know how to handle cameras, how to edit, how to do those things. So now I'm trying to figure that model where now when I bring people everything kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the next step. Yeah.
The
I need
scaling
to,
part.
yeah, I need to, the scaling part. I need to find the model properly. When I nail it, then yeah, I think we should be good. Now it's no longer about me. It's just, even when I decide to go on a holiday, the thing is running.
Yeah, bro. I'm also trying to figure that part out. I think it takes time because finding the right people on your journey, it takes time to find the right people that can believe.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why it's important for us to have these conversations, right? Because there's benefits. Like, yes, joining a startup is hard, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the same as going to a big corporate
Yeah.
that's got everything on
Yeah.
lock.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's rewards that come with that. If you're gonna build something, you'll reap the benefit of that, right? And I think a lot of people don't see the potential in it. So it becomes difficult for them to invest in an idea. So like how do you say, like how do you get convince people to invest in your idea of AOK?
That's a good question. Um, I think it's a value exchange. So, for example, let's say I want to work with an X brand. So, if the X brand don't see any value that AUK brings to their brand, then why are we working together? You know? So, yeah, it all revolves around value. What value? And because now it can't just be take. It must be give and take. I give you this, you give me this. Sometimes also understanding that they are going to be brands that not necessarily they're gonna pay you, but you are there because you connect with someone else that you're gonna work with. So once you understand that oh, it's not about money every time. Like are who are the people that are going to be at that event that I'm going there? Then the minute when you get your foot in, it's like, oh, here are these people. Then now you present to the proper people to like, yo, this is what I'm working on, and then yeah, it's a value thing, man. It's a value because no one wants to just give. Even a mentor and a mentee relationship, you just can't take and just take and take. You have to also pour. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing of giving is super important because it's a circle, right? And the moment someone stops giving in the circle breaks and it can't
Yeah.
sustain
Yeah,
itself.
yeah.
So in order for it to function and in order for it to just live, something can't grow unless it's living. There has to be an exchange. There has to be a system.
Yeah.
And the system, if one person is just taking, the system breaks. So it's important to share these lessons because I think a lot of the time, like it becomes difficult for especially young people that are starting out. It becomes difficult to think of like giving because a lot of people are coming from different difficult situations where you don't have much, right? So to come on like a podcast and like tell someone who's like in Alex, for example, who has nothing, you must give.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a tricky thing
Yeah.
to talk about, right?
So now with AOK, for example, if I'm approaching someone that I want them to invest, so it's like, what are you doing in the ecosystem of maybe film or music? What I'm doing, it's giving again. Remember when I was mentioning the BEE thing? Also, it's like even now the president was saying that which I find it a bit troubling that they are going to give women and disabled people a certain grant so that they can. Now it's like, okay, when you're giving these people a certain grant, then what's going to happen to the boy child? So it means that now we're also going to go down, and after 10 years we must say, oh, the boy child was left alone, so now we must, so now it's a whole thing of in the ecosystem of music, film, me presenting to an investor is like, I'm giving these people an opportunity, giving them an opportunity that, you know, you never know, them coming to my show can catapult them to, a higher level. Now they get recognized and now they get to feed their family. And in return, you just give us the things that will sustain this thing, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have a message for any young creative entrepreneur? What would you say to them watching this?
Yeah, no one has ever asked. I'm the one that asks people that the question, not me.
Switch. You interviewed me just now, so sorry.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'd say don't overthink it, man. Like literally don't overthink it. It's not that deep. Your idea, it's not new. It's not like this phenomena, and literally whatever that us doing AOK, it has been done a long time ago, so it's just a matter of, oh, I have this, how can I make it different, and how can I package it and sell it and take it to the world, and the world will decide. Because if that thing that you're doing is good enough and you give it to the world and the world receives it better, it's a win for you. Don't overthink it, just do it.
Nice. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Tabang, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching this latest episode of the C.Cast. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to achieve a huge mission and we need you to invest in it. The best way to do that is by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and leaving a comment down below. By doing that, you help the algorithm understand that we are offering content that is valuable and it will reach more people. There might also be someone out there that just wants to learn a lesson or who might be able to take something away from the podcast. Share it with them. And lastly, if you would like to be more involved in the community, if you want access to opportunities, knowledge from our experience in the digital marketing space, or to connect with other people who are like-minded and uplifting the continent, starting businesses and using tech and creativity to make them successful, join the WhatsApp group by scanning the QR code and we'll chat with you there. Until then, bye.
This year, over 600,000 students applied to get into university in South Africa, but less than 20% are actually going to get admitted. And even those who get in still don't have a guaranteed job afterwards. I got a degree, but I've never used it. And most of the money that I've made has come from things that I taught myself. And today I run a 6-figure digital marketing agency called JD Creations with a growing team. We need skilled people in our industry. If you didn't get into university, I want you to know that you are not a failure. The world has changed and you don't need a degree to build a career. In this episode, I'm going to break down the steps that helped me make money online and how I got started so that you can follow the same footsteps even if you don't have a degree.